Imagine this. You're scrolling through your phone watching a video about adorable kittens playing the accordion. Perfectly normal, right? Well, here's the kicker. Someone somewhere knows you're watching this. They know what kind of phone you're using, where you're sitting, and maybe even what brand of cat food you buy. Sounds like a conspiracy theory, doesn't it? But here's the thing. This isn't some paranoid fantasy. This is the reality of the digital age. From the moment you log on to the internet, you're handing over a treasure trove of information about yourself. Every click, every like, every search term is meticulously tracked, analyzed, and probably sold to the highest bidder. And it's not just those adorable kitten videos they're watching. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly who's watching you, how they're doing it, and what you can do to fight back. Stick around because things are about to get interesting. Let's start with the most obvious one, shall we? Social media. It's become an integral part of our daily lives, almost like a digital extension of ourselves. We all know the drill, the endless scrolling, the constant notifications, the dopamine hits from likes and shares. You post a picture of your lunch, share a funny meme, and wait for the validation to roll in. Leave a comment about how much you love or hate a particular brand of mayonnaise. It's a never-ending cycle of content creation and consumption. It's all fun and games, right? Just harmless digital interaction. A way to stay connected with friends and family. Except it's not, is it? Beneath the surface, there's a darker side to this digital playground. Because every time you hit that like button, you're not just expressing approval. Every time you tag a friend in a post, you're not just sharing a moment. Every time you even just open the app, you're feeding the beast. A beast that thrives on your data. And that beast, my friends, is a ravenous, data-hungry algorithm. It's designed to keep you engaged, to keep you coming back for more. Social media companies are businesses. They have one primary goal: to make a profit. And what do businesses need to survive? Money. Lots of it. And how do they make money? By selling your attention to advertisers. By selling your attention to advertisers. Your screen time is their goldmine. And how do they know what kind of ads to show you? By tracking your every move online. By tracking your every move online. Every click, every like, every share is recorded and analyzed. It's a vicious cycle, and we're all trapped in it. The more we engage, the more data they collect. They know what you like, what you dislike, who your friends are, where you live. They know more about you than you might realize. They use this information to create a scarily accurate profile of you, a digital version of yourself, which they then use to target you with laser-like precision, ads tailored just for you. Ever notice how those ads for that weird gadget you were just looking at seem to follow you around the internet? That's no coincidence, it's by design. That's the algorithm at work, my friends. It's watching you, learning your habits, and predicting your next move. And using that information to manipulate you into buying things you probably don't even need. And the worst part, it's incredibly effective. Most of us willingly hand over this information without a second thought. We don't question it. We click accept on those lengthy terms and conditions without even reading them. We grant permissions without hesitation. We grant access to our cameras, microphones, and location data without even considering the consequences. We're like digital sheep, happily skipping towards the slaughterhouse of data exploitation. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be this way, it doesn't have to be this way. We can fight back, we can take control of our digital lives, we can take control of our data, and tell these tech giants that we're not going to stand for their invasive practices anymore. We can demand better, and it all starts with awareness. Awareness is the first step towards change. Okay, let's move on to our next suspect in this digital game of Clue Your Phone. That's right, that sleek, shiny rectangle you carry everywhere. It's more than just a gadget. It's not just a communication device, it's a tracking device, a data-gathering machine, a digital diary of your life, a pocket-sized spy constantly reporting your every move to, well, someone. But who exactly? Ever get that creepy feeling that your phone is listening to you? Like it's eavesdropping on your conversations? That you'll be talking about something and then, bam! An ad for that very thing pops up on your social media feed? It's almost as if your phone is reading your mind, isn't it? Well, you might not be as paranoid as you think. There's a reason for this uncanny accuracy. See, your phone is packed with sensors. GPS, accelerometer, gyroscope, magnetometer, each one collecting data. These sensors collect a staggering amount of information about you, from your location to your movements to even the orientation of your device. It's like having a digital shadow. And guess what? Apps love this data. They crave it. They thrive on it. They'll do almost anything to get their grubby little digital hands on it. It's like gold to them. Think about the apps you use every day. Social media, shopping, dating, gaming. How many of them have you granted access to your location, your camera, your microphone? Probably more than you realize. Now, some of these permissions are necessary for the app to function properly. A navigation app needs your location to, navigate. A messaging app needs access to your camera to take pictures. These make sense. But what about that flashlight app that wants to record audio? Or that weather app that wants to read your contacts? Suddenly things aren't so clear-cut, are they? The lines between necessary and invasive become blurred. The truth is, many apps collect far more data than they actually need, and they're not always transparent about how they use that data. They might sell it to third-party advertisers, use it to create targeted profiles, or even share it with government agencies. The possibilities are endless and often hidden in the fine print, and the worst part is, most of us just blindly click allow without even thinking twice. We're so used to these invasive permission requests that we just tune them out, but it's time to start paying attention. Because every time you grant an app access to your data, you're essentially giving them a key to your digital life. And once you give away that key, it's very difficult to get it back. So next time you download an app, think twice before you grant those permissions. Remember, your data is valuable. Protect it like you would your most prized possessions. Don't just give it away. Be mindful, be cautious, and take control of your digital life. We're so used to these invasive permission requests that we just tune them out. But it's time to start paying attention. Because every time you grant an app access to your data, you're essentially giving them a key to your digital life. And once you give away that key, it's very difficult to get it back. So be vigilant, be informed, and take charge of your digital privacy. Chapter 3. Hackers, lurking in the digital shadows. Alright, let's move on from those seemingly harmless apps and talk about the boogeymen of the internet hackers. Now, I'm not talking about some teenager in their parents' basement trying to change their grades, although that does happen. I'm talking about organized, sophisticated groups who are after one thing, your data. And they're really, really good at their jobs. They're like the digital equivalent of ninjas lurking in the shadows waiting for you to let your guard down. And the scary part is, they don't need much to wreak havoc on your digital life. One of their favorite hunting grounds? Public Wi-Fi. You know, those free unsecured networks you find at coffee shops, airports, and hotels. Yeah, those are basically hacker playgrounds. Think of it like this. Connecting to public Wi-Fi is like leaving your front door wide open and inviting everyone on the street into your home. Anyone with a little bit of technical know-how can intercept your data on these networks. Your passwords, your credit card information, your private messages, it's all up for grabs. But don't worry, it's not all doom and gloom. There are ways to protect yourself from these digital predators. Using a VPN, or a virtual private network, is like wrapping your internet connection in a cloak of invisibility. It encrypts your data, making it much harder for hackers to intercept it even on public Wi-Fi. A little bit of caution can go a long way in the digital world. Chapter 4. Government surveillance, they're watching you too. Now you might be thinking, okay, I get it. Social media companies are tracking me, hackers are trying to steal my data, but surely the government isn't involved in all this, right? Well, buckle up, because this is where things get really unsettling. Remember that tinfoil hat I mentioned earlier? Yeah, this is the part where it might actually come in handy. Because the truth is, governments around the world are engaged in mass surveillance programs that would make even George Orwell blush. We're talking about programs that collect phone records, emails, text messages, internet browsing history, and even social media activity. And it's not just about tracking potential terrorists or criminals. This kind of mass surveillance sweeps up data from ordinary citizens like you and me. Remember Edward Snowden? That whole NSA scandal a few years back? Yeah, that wasn't just a one-off event. That was just a glimpse into the vast and often secretive world of government surveillance. Now, governments will argue that this kind of surveillance is necessary to keep us safe, to prevent terrorism, to maintain national security. And maybe there's some truth to that. But at what cost? At what point does the pursuit of security erode our fundamental right to privacy? It's a slippery slope, and once we start down that path, it's hard to turn back. The problem is these surveillance programs often operate in secrecy, with little to no oversight or accountability. We don't know what data they're collecting, how they're using it, or who they're sharing it with, and that's a problem. Because when governments have access to this kind of information, it can be used to silence dissent, to target political opponents, to control the narrative. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? The idea that our every move, every conversation, every digital footprint could be monitored and analyzed without our knowledge or consent. So, the next time you pick up your phone or log onto your computer, remember, it's not just the social media companies and hackers you need to worry about. The government might be watching you too. Outrow Fight Back, reclaim your digital privacy. So there you have it. The not-so-pretty truth about who's watching you online and how they're doing it. From social media giants to shadowy hackers to our own governments, it seems like everyone wants a piece of our digital lives. It's enough to make you want to throw your phone in the ocean and move to a remote cabin in the woods, isn't it? But before you start stocking up on canned goods and learning how to churn butter, take a deep breath. Because while the situation might seem dire, it's not hopeless. There are simple steps you can take to protect yourself, to reclaim your digital privacy, and to tell these data-hungry entities that you're not going to take it anymore. Start by being more mindful of the information you share online. Think twice before you hit that like button, before you grant an app access to your location, before you connect to that unsecured Wi-Fi network. Use strong, unique passwords for all your accounts and enable two-factor authentication whenever possible. And consider using privacy-focused tools like VPNs, encrypted messaging apps, and privacy-focused browsers. The more you know about how your data is being collected, used, and abused, the better equipped you'll be to protect yourself. Because in the digital age, privacy is not a privilege, it's a right.